what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready.
Welcome back to another episode of Live with Coach Stokes, where grit meets greatness and stories go deeper than the surface. Today's guest is someone who embodies what it means to serve with both strength and heart. We're talking about a woman who's carved out space into two of the most demanding arenas there is: healthcare and professional boxing. Paula Vargas is a registered nurse with over 15 years of experience, an author, and in May of 2023, she stepped into the square circle as a certified Cutwoman. From the ER to the corner of the boxing ring, she's known for precision hand wrapping, sharp focus, and fierce protection of her fighters. Paula isn't just isn't just applying pressure to cuts. She's also applying pressure to a system that's long overlooked the contributions of women in boxing. She's launched her own podcast, The Corner with Paula V, to spotlight women's impact in the sport of boxing and to challenge the inequalities she sees from the inside. This isn't just a conversation about boxing or nursing. It's about purpose, passion, and pushing the boundaries of what women are told they can do and cannot do. So let's get into it. So without further ado, please welcome my very special guest, Coach Vargas. How you doing, Coach?
Oh my gosh, you make me sound important.
Everybody has a piece of the puzzle when it comes to this. So we wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for you. So, Coach, no problem, Coach. Thank you for accepting. Let's dive right into it, Coach.
All right, let's go.
What drew you to boxing? Not just as a fan, but enough to want to step into the role of a Cutwoman.
Jeez, what drew me to boxing? I've always loved boxing. I've always done it. In nursing school, I decided to take boxing up for fitness. Anyone that's gone through nursing school knows how stressful it is. So I needed an outlet to get all the anxieties and stresses out. So I took boxing up for fitness. And then, long story short, I had moved to Atlanta for a little bit. And the guy that trained me, I always went to a real boxing gym. I never liked those boxing fitness.
Right.
No. So I always went to a real boxing gym.
Well, I'm sorry. Why was that, Coach? Because they're very popular, and a lot of people are intimidated with going to a real boxing gym. But why did you choose the boxing gym over the fitness?
I wasn't intimidated at all to go into a real boxing gym because that's the realness. That, to me, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or misspeak, but I just think it just wasn't for me. I'm a tomboy at heart. So I felt more comfortable in a real gym with the grit and the grind. And I like to do everything correctly. I want to make sure I do it properly. If I'm going to do it properly, I'm going to go to the place where I know I'm going to get the authentic. Everything I do is that way. I want the realness. I'm from up north, so I want the realness. So yeah, the fitness stuff is just people are in there and they're not really into it. You know, girls have their hair and their makeup and their matching outfits, and I'm not about that. I just want to go and do my work up a sweat, get what I need to get out of it, and then be out. So that's why I chose the regular gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So while I'm there, I used to train out of a grindhouse in Atlanta with Coach Mustafa, and I know they had spar days. So I would either be there for training previously, or I would just be there hanging out. And Coach Mustafa and the fighters they know I'm a nurse. So if maybe someone got bumped or got a little nick or a little cut, and either the fighters would ask me or coach would ask, and I would just go take a look. And just to see, I'm like, yeah, they're straight, or someone's hyperventilating or anything like that. So after I started doing it, I'm like, oh, I think this is a thing. And it didn't dawn on me until I met Team Boxing Mom at the Grindhouse. She had came to Grindhouse with her son. And I met her and I was saying, I'm like, oh, she does it. She's the first woman that I knew of and met. Not saying there weren't people before her, but she's who I met first. And I'm like, she's a Black woman. She's doing this. And I said, Coach Mustafa, do you think I can do it? He's like, absolutely. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to look into it. So long story short, I looked into it and here I am.
Wow. And shout out to my man, Coach Mustafa Meekins. One love to salute to you, brother. Wow, that is because when I saw the first thing I saw, I saw RN. I was like, wow, she's a registered nurse.
Yeah.
And you have it's two polar opposites, medical, boxing, but then they come together as one. I mean, you guys take care of us, and you guys, the show can't go on without a doctor at the bouts. So
Yeah,
we both need each other. We both need each other. That's
for sure.
I love your story. How do you mentally prepare for a night in the corner versus a shift in the hospital?
Well, another common misconception is that a lot of people in society just think nurses are in the hospital. We're all over the place. Nurses serve in every aspect of society. We're not always in the hospital. I can say I worked in the hospital like 1 year out of my 15 years. I worked in the hospital. I know some nurses that have never done a shift in the hospital.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. So for me, when I mentally prepare for Night in the Corner, oof, and I know I saw you talking to Stitch, it's pretty much is the same. You get my pro bag, I have a pro bag and an amateur bag, which have completely different things in them. So I just check my pro bag, make sure I have enough supplies I need, make sure my insoles, well, when they're in the freezer, make sure it's in the freezer frozen. I prep and make sure I have everything I need. Then I try and figure out what I'm wearing. And I know it. I know what y'all are gonna say. I try to figure out what jacket I'm wearing because I try my best to match up with what the fighters are going to be wearing for their outfits.
Okay.
I made it a point to stop wearing the stuff the fighters wear for a particular reason. So I make sure I call them what colors we wearing. I got 30 pairs of sneakers, so I try to match up my sneakers or what they're wearing and stuff. So that's pretty much I just try and get myself mentally prepared because if my energy and everything isn't right, then I have downtime after that. I'm reading or I'm listening to some music, just trying to get myself in a good headspace because I want to have the right energy when I'm in the corner with them.
So you said you have two different bags. You have an amateur bag, you have a professional bag.
Yes.
What is the course load? How is it different from the amateur bag to the pro bag? Of course.
In my amateur bag, I have a different type of gauze than I have in my pro bag. In my amateur bag, it's a thinner, more pliable gauze. It doesn't take up much space because I'm usually wrapping teenagers, young kids, so it doesn't. Then I don't have Vaseline. I have my scissors, and then I have regular tape like War or Title or just tape like that is in it's very minimal. In my pro bag, I have my two end swells, I have gloves, I have towels, I have Vaseline, I have my quick aid, I have much more stuff, and I have enough gauze and tape, and I have Empire is what I use for professional fighters. I just like that tape better for pro fighters. And then I have just some scissors and enough to make sure I have for 2 or 3 fighters. Because sometimes a cutman doesn't show up, and they ask you if you can sit in for someone. So I want to make sure I have enough in case that happens. So I have enough I usually pack for 4 fighters.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Okay, coach.
Yeah.
And this is for all future cut people, whether you're a male or a female. You're hearing from Coach Vargas, who's blown up in the game, and that's why I'm having her on the show because the first time I saw you, it was on Instagram, and I'm looking. So I looked a couple times, and then like right around the 5th time, I sent it to my guy. Shout out to Coach Littell Huntley up in Ohio, Huntley. But I ran it by him because he's a cut man as well. I said, bro, is she good? He said, she official. He's talking about how you rap and everything. No, yeah, he said you were official. So if he said it, I know for a fact. Shout out Coach Peanut. If he said it, I knew you was the truth. And then I just been seeing you on everything, blown up on a lot of stuff. So that you're putting in the work. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff. It's gonna take care of you. Yeah, definitely, Coach. No problem. Coach, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
Where do compassion and combat intersect with you?
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. And for me, compassion and combat doesn't intersect for me at all. I'm not at odds with it because I'm more for a professional fighter, yes, I can see why that would be a legitimate question. But for me, I'm more on the compassionate side. I am compassionate towards my fighter that they're in a combat situation. So I'm making sure that I am there for them 100% of the time, whatever they need, whether it's emotional, whether it's protection, whether it's just good energy. It doesn't really intersect. I'm just more focused on the fact that they're in that combat situation. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
What's the hardest lesson boxing has taught you that nursing never could?
That's a good question, but I would flip it around because I would say what's the hardest thing nursing has taught me that boxing never could is
Okay,
because
so let's rephrase that. What's the hardest lesson that nursing has taught you that boxing
nursing,
never could?
you are, whether people understand it or not, it's one of the toughest, hardest profession out there. It's you don't go into nursing because you're in it for the money. You don't go into nursing because it's you just do it for the compassion and you're trying to give back and you're trying to take care of people. That's you serve. And I know you're a Marine, so thanks for your service. But for us, it's the
Yeah.
same way. It's just it's hard. There's one saying that it says nurses eat their young. It's
Mm.
that it's serious. So the thing that it has taught me is just to be tough because you're not only getting it from your patients, you're getting it from the doctors, and they're not nice at
Yeah.
all. So it's nursing has taught me to just be tough, to be patient, to be calm in a hostile situation. Be calm. So I use that in boxing. And when I'm in the corner, when I'm in the ring, all those things that I've acquired from nursing, I apply in boxing. And it's easy for me. I'm cool as a cucumber when I'm there.
Right.
Blood doesn't scare me. All the stuff that's going on. Cameras, yeah, meh, I'm not with the cameras, but everything else, because of all that it has taught me in nursing, has I've been able to just it's like nothing. I enjoy it. Boxing makes me enjoy it. Nursing, it's just rough. It's hardcore.
I shout you out 1,000,000% because it is a tough career. And my mother-in-law, who was in labor and delivery for 30 plus years. Shout out to you, Mom, Angelina McClure. It's a job that she says that you guys are not seeing like you should be. And I know for a fact how it is because I know for a fact nurses do all of the work. It's not the doctors, it's the nurses that make everything happen. So I just want to tell you, thank you, Coach Vargas, for what you do in the medical
Appreciate
field, and now being being part of the fraternity or sorority when it comes to boxing.
I appreciate that.
No
Thank you so much.
problem. No problem. All right. Have you ever doubted your place in the corner, and how did you push through that if you did?
All the time.
Really?
All the time. I'm starting to get better. I doubted myself because there's so many awesome women that have come before me. So many women that are going unseen and unheard who actually do really good work. I doubt myself because I want to make sure I'm making a difference. And I always question myself, every time a fight is over, you watch it back. And I'm not, paying so much paying attention to the entire fight. I'm watching my movement. I'm watching to see, did I do this right? Did I do that right? Was I in and out in a timely manner? I'm very crucial, very, very hard on myself because I'm forever the student. And like you said, I'm fairly new to the game, so I'm very technical, and I want to make sure I'm not messing up anything for the fighter. Is there something I could have done? Could I press a little harder on that spot, or I want to make sure I am not a factor in the outcome negatively. I want to make sure it's always positive. So I doubt myself because sometimes I am an overthinker. I'm always an overthinker. And sometimes, yeah, I don't move as quickly, or sometimes I know when I met Stitch and I met Mike Basil, shout out to them. They're my
Shout
mentors.
out. Shout out to Mike Basil as well. That's my guy.
They always say, quiet the noise. Don't pay attention to the noise. And I did let someone troll me on Instagram, and I did let it did get to me. And so I did doubt myself. I'm like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, because I always want to make sure my heart is always in the right place, my head is in the right place, and I want to make sure I'm a positive effect for the fighter. So yeah, I do doubt myself. I before we go out, we start walking out, I always take a step back. I take a breath. I try and center myself, try and calm myself down, because energy transfers, and I want to make sure
That's right.
that I'm in the right headspace when I get out there. So yeah, it keeps me humble. It keeps me humble.
This sport does nothing but keep you humble.
Yeah, but 100%.
When you
if you're not humble, something's wrong.
Exactly, and it's a learning experience. And I think
Yeah.
what you said earlier, when something kind of frazzled you, when it got to you, that was just minor, because God has huge plans for you. And I'm serious. He has huge plans for you. It's gonna go as far as Paula wants us to go, and I see it going far, because I can tell, like, the same way that you are, a lot of the top people that made it, that became successful, have those same traits. They want to be perfect. Yeah, you're not going to be perfect, but I want to be as close as perfect as possible. The technique is something that I'm a stickler on. I don't want my son looking like he's 14. I want you looking at him like, man, he's fighting like he's a 20-year-old, like he's a grown man. That's because our standards are higher. So don't ever look at yourself and say, if anything, continue to be tough on yourself. And then also know that you're a lot farther than a lot of people are, and a lot of people wish that they were. So the haters are going to be there. You ain't getting rid of them. If anything, you're going to increase the haters. So keep doing what you're doing, Coach.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No problem. In an industry where women are still often seen as outsiders, how do you stay grounded in your worth?
Pretty much the same answer as the previous. I stay grounded by remaining humble. I'm always a student. I'm always learning. I have two people that I go to when I'm checking myself. Two people. That's Mike Baz. Shout out to the mechanic again. I go to him for anything I question on in the corner, anything I have, any corner question I have, my positioning, where do I stand? How do I combat this? How do I work that? Anything corner related? Pick his brain as much as I possibly can. And as far as the world of boxing, I go to Coach Mustafa, because who else to go to?
Right.
So I go to him if I'm not familiar with this fighter or that fighter, how this works as far as boxing is concerned. Those are the two people I go to. And it keeps me grounded, because I know that there's a place for us. Sometimes we're in a fight. Sometimes the female boxing matches are the best fight of the night. Sometimes they're the ones that the audience is there to see. They get everybody riled up. Sometimes they really put in some serious work. So I keep myself grounded, just understanding that there's so many more people that have done some decent work before me, and I strive to do half of what they've done. So I'm just still a rookie. I call myself a rookie. When people ask me how long you been doing this, I'm like, oh, just 2 years, and they're like, what? So I'm like, yeah, that's nothing. So just keeping humble and being the student, forever the student.
The team that you surround yourself with, automatically, you said Mike Basil, and then Coach Mustafa Meekins. Man, hey, there's so many people that starting off on the wrong foot, where you be like, how are you even listening to this guy? This person don't even know what they're talking about, but you are with the right people. So people, circulate yourself around credible people that have done things, people that know stuff.
Important that is. Yes. I cannot tell you, people, it is so easy to be steered in the wrong direction. So easy. Who you surround yourself with is critical to your success. Critical. You want to surround yourself with people that are knowledgeable, people that are ultimately looking out for your well-being in a positive manner. They're not in it for no other reason but to see you succeed. That's it. That's who you surround yourself with. Even if I got somebody notified me about this, that, the other, I can make a lot of money. No, that person is not good. It's not even worth the money. You want someone that's going to check you like that and keep you out of situations that's not going to harm. That's going to harm you. So
right.
yes, your team is vital.
Those ones that make it, especially in the sport. What moment in your Cutwoman journey made you say, I belong here?
I don't know if I got
You haven't came across that yet?
I don't think I've come across
Okay.
that yet.
Okay.
Even though I'm very comfortable in the ring, when I'm there and I'm doing my work, I block everything out and I'm like, this is fun. I like this.
Okay.
Like I said, I question myself a lot, but yeah, I don't think I've gotten to that point yet. I don't think well, couple more years, probably.
Okay. So what's something as you being a cut person that people misunderstand? They think, being a cut person is this way, but it really isn't.
I get asked a lot, do you
Huh?
have to be a medical professional to be a cut person? Absolutely not. And you know this. You do not have to have any medical degree, medical experience, medical anything. You just have to have a passion to learn the job and to do it correctly. That's all that's required. A cut person, people believe that we can stop fights. We can't stop a fight. Only the doctor or the coach can throw in the towel. They're the people that can stop a fight. We can't stop a fight at all. I don't care what's happening. Our job is to make sure that that fighter can keep going, keep going. We can't stop. We just have to make sure that he's taken care of enough and he can see blood bleeding is under control. We just have to make sure that he's able to progress through the fight and get to the end of it. And that's what we do. We can't stop it, and you don't have to be a medical professional. Those are the two things I get asked a lot.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where a cut was so bad you said, you know what, this is not going to work. I think you should stop this fight.
No, I did not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I had my first fight. My first pro fight was a top rank card, and it was a heavyweight fighter that I had, and he was taking some serious blows to the head, some serious blows to the head, and my nurse at in that particular fight, my nurse brain clicked in because I knew I can already see certain things. I already knew. Whispered it to the trainer, be careful, like don't let this go too long. Then it was the 12 rounds and they stopped it in the fifth. But I knew in the third. I'm like,
Yes, sir.
I knew. I whispered him like, be careful. I'm like, he just was not listening to instruction. He just was not listening. And for that, hands was down a lot. He was taking some serious blows. So I just whispered to the trainer. I'm like, it's not going to be long. I'm like, you're gonna have to pay attention. So when he understood, so he started telling him, yo, you got to do something, because I'm gonna throw the towel in if you don't do something. And yeah, fifth round that called it. So, and he ended up with a brain bleed on the left side.
Wow.
So,
yeah, this is a sport that you cannot be playing around with. And I'm not just talking about to the fighters, but to the coaches, to the assistants, to the cut men, cut women. You already know.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be in a sport, this is something that you cannot play around with. This is serious. When they say it's a hurt business, it is the hurt business.
It is. It is.
So,
pay attention to what's being said to you.
Yes.
The trainer, the cut people, everyone there, they're in the corner to make sure that you're okay. And I know it's a lot going on. It's easier said than done, right? Because they're in a combat situation. They're at war. They're in fight or flight. So it's hard to block out, but you have to try your hardest to your body mechanics. The automatic, keep your hands up. That's automatic. If you don't do anything else, do that. Hands up,
Right.
jab. If you forget everything else, hands up, jab. That's it.
What, Coach Paula, what was the tipping point that made you be like, you know what, I'm going to start my podcast?
There are so many things. I actually did not set out to start a podcast. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was just telling him about some frustrations that I had and just some things that I was seeing. And he was like, I'm sure there's other women going through the same thing. And I said, and so he's like, yeah, you should do a podcast. I'm like, I'm a behind the scenes support staff type person. I am not a out front. That's why a corner person is perfect for me because I'm not about being in the front at all. So, and I'm not a big talker. So he said, yeah, no, just do it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. And so I just looked through all my contacts and I knew more people than I currently thought.
Right.
And then I just, asked them, I'm doing this podcast, y'all want to do it. And so, yeah, I wanted it to be women because we're not heard. We're not heard and we may be seen, but not in the right way. So I wanted these women to be able to speak about everything that they're experiencing and sort of like make it a community to understand that we're all going through the same thing. So it has been helping me feel like I belong because I'm realizing I'm not the only one struggling with what I've been dealing with. So that's pretty much it's been therapy for me actually to have the podcast because it helps me to understand that I'm not the only one dealing with some of the things that I deal with.
I started this podcast for my son who's a competitive boxer, Diesel Stokes. And I just wanted this to be a look back where you know what, he can use this as a reference. So, dad interviewed this person, this fighter, this coach, these people, he had these talks. But yeah. I too understand it is therapy because I deal with things, being a combat veteran, seeing things, being raised, whatever the case may be. You and I both know we come from similar backgrounds. We both from the East Coast. Yeah. But this does help because it educates me as well on boxing when it comes to book knowledge or when it comes to you tell me a lot when it comes to being a Cutwoman, the things you have to deal with. Like I told you before, dealing with certain situations. I too understand what you were saying. So I'm sorry if I ran off in a tangent. Yeah. I just I totally understand what you're saying though.
Yeah, for sure. It has helped me a lot questioning my place. It's helped me a lot.
Well, you don't have to question yourself. I'm telling you, you got good people around you. And if they told you you can do this, you can do it. Trust me. Coach, no problem. How do you deal with trauma in two arenas? Physical injuries and sometimes emotional ones. How do you process it all?
That's a good question. So how do I process trauma in both arenas? Well, my personal life has pretty much prepared me to process trauma. It has pretty much the foundation to help me process trauma as far as nursing and as far as physical, boxing, any part of my life. It has helped me. So I just pretty much, I know things that I'm going through or things that I'm seeing, or I just focus on fixing it. I just focus on that. Physical injuries, I gotta fix it. I gotta stop it. I gotta make it better. Emotional ones, I just take a breath, take a step back, make sure my energy's right. If my energy is jacked up, I can't help anybody else emotionally. Right? If I'm running on E, I can't give to anybody emotionally. So I always have to make sure that I fuel myself and make sure I'm good to go before I start helping anyone else. Physical injuries, as a Cutwoman, I'm just tending to in the ring and I make sure it's all right. When they come out of the ring, I'm still tending to it. I'm checking them. I'm making sure I still use my end swell when we're not in the ring. I'm still pressing on their face. I'm still making sure everything is okay. If I see anything, I'm still making sure there's no signs of concussion or whatever. I'm still doing that once we get out of the ring. Emotionally, if they're still not right or they're hard on themselves or things didn't go the way they're planned, I'm always positive. I'm always trying to make sure I have a positive word for them, regardless if it's a win or a loss. There's always a lesson. Even if it's a loss, there's a lesson. So I just try to make sure that I keep myself lifted up so I can lift them up or lift whoever I'm dealing with up. And I just try to make sure technically all my skills are up to par so I can address anything that's physical. But yeah, personal life.
So no, it sounds like you're very solution oriented.
For sure. 100%. 100%. I'm the fixer. I'm the fixer in my family. I'm the fixer with my friends. I'm the fixer. So I tell people I didn't choose nursing. Nursing chose me. And as far as a Cutwoman, pretty much the same because I was just helping out at sparring. I wasn't intending on becoming a Cutwoman. It sort of was like you said, a calling. So I sort of just fell into place pretty much doing that. So
that's dope. That really it is. Which experiences for nursing have made you better in the ring and vice versa?
Which experiences for nursing? staying calm and cool under pressure. You have to keep your head about you. You have to, it's what's going on isn't about you right now. It's about what's going on with that fighter in the ring at that moment. So staying calm and cool under pressure. If you've ever been in the ER, it's people are running around, there's tons of stuff going on. Even if you're on the floor, one little bell, one little whatever that's going off, everyone is like running. You just have to stay cool and calm, because then you're able to see the path. If you're not clear and you're just caught up in everything that's going on, you can't focus, you can't streamline what it is you're trying to do, because there's so much going on in your head. You just have to calm yourself, center yourself, and focus at the task on hand. You got to be task driven. That from nursing is what I bring into the ring. I'm all about the task at hand.
Or organized chaos.
Yes.
Really?
And
Organized
it really
chaos.
is, because you can see, like, there's everyone has a place. When someone is on that stretcher, there's 10 people around you, and each person has something that they're doing. And that's you sit there and you focus on this, you focus on that, and they're not focused on anything else but what they're given, the task they're given to do. So yeah, pretty much the same in the ring. You got the guy with the ice in the stool, you got the trainer, you got the doctor over your head, you got the cameraman over here, you got the fighter that's trying to, get himself together. So yeah, organized chaos is perfect term.
For those young women that are tuning in right now, what advice would you give to them, the same ones that would like to go down the same path as you?
Go for it. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I was told. Don't question. If that's something you want to do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. I interviewed Cutwoman Jess from Ireland, and she does not mix words. So if it's something you want to do it. Take some lessons, take classes, contact people, get in touch with people who have done it, get their feedback.
Right.
Find out what's the good and bad. Don't let them just sit there and sell you a dream. There's negatives to everything. There's
That's
negatives
right.
to everything. But like I said, there's a lesson in even the negatives and the losses. So you want to get a full picture. Go to a fight with them. You know what I mean? Watch them because I go to a couple gyms. I go to Marksman Boxing in Orlando. Shout out to Coach Angus. And I practice a lot. And anyone that wants to do it, you just have to call me, come with me wherever. If you want to come with me to a fight, wherever, and I'll just show you. That's the best thing. Shadow somebody that will put you right there in the energy, and you can see everything firsthand. Talking to people and having people tell you about it, yeah, that's good. But feeling it, feeling the environment, that's what's going to make you decide. Because the first time you see blood, you might be like, oh God, no. That's not right. That's not for me. And that's what everyone thinks. They're like, oh yeah, I can do that until they see blood, and then people are passing out. But yeah, my best advice is to shadow someone and see if it is really for you. But definitely get in touch with people, talk to people, and don't let anybody tell you you can't do something. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, young, old. I'm older than people think. I yeah, I love it. I love it. I enjoy it a lot.
It's funny because when you said people, they want to do it, but then if they're squeamish about blood, yo, that would be crazy if a cut man got up in there
And
and then
passed out.
he passed out. Do you know how many memes that would make? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I watch a lot. I watch a lot of Cutman when they're in the corner, because I watch fights on Friday nights. I watch fights on Saturday nights, and I'm like, why is he doing that? Where's the gloves? Or why? I'm not judging, not judging. Of course not, never that.
You taking
But
notes. You taking
yes,
notes.
absolutely. I take notes, and I'm ever the student. So yeah, if you're squeamish, it's not for you at all.
Hey,
Not at all.
it is. And in this sport, you're going to find out really fast. It's going to let you know if you're built for it or if you want to come back and just endure it again. I'm
Yes.
serious. So
Yeah.
you
Go
have
go
to be
to
rock solid.
For sure. Go to a gym on a spar day. Because sometimes sparring is not light work. They're doing some serious work sparring. They're trying to prep themselves for what's coming. So go to a gym on a spar day and just be in the energy and be in the space and see if it's for you.
That's right. That's right. Good words, Coach. Thank you. Coach, couple more
Yes.
questions and then we'll be done.
All right, we're good.
How do you handle the pressure of knowing your quick decisions could change the outcome of a fight?
Pressure. Just do
No
it.
pressure. I like that. I like that. I like
No
that.
pressure. Just do it because we have 45 seconds to do what we need to do. You don't
Sure.
have time to think. You have 45 seconds from when the bell, you're sitting on the floor. You have to get up, get what you need, get up the stairs, get in the ring, and do what you can do. By that time, you're down to 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You have no seconds to think. You got to
Yeah.
be autopilot and you have to be on it. If there's swelling, the longer you're tending to the swelling is the best. But if you're just thinking and like, oh my gosh, I got to get myself together, you have to there's no pressure. You just get up there, do what you need to do, and get out because they'll yell at you, let's go, let's go, let's go. If you're still there trying to, no pressure. Just handle it. Just handle it.
I like that. I like that. Our last question. You stood in the corner of champions and survivors. What do you think makes a champion and why?
What do you think? What I think make a champion?
Because
I'm
you've
not
dealt
gonna
with fighters and you've dealt with people inside the hospital, when it comes to their health and stuff.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give you the typical you gotta be disciplined, grit, blah blah blah. One of actually the only I have 3 words that's my tagline for my emails. 3 words. Purpose, goals, and intentions. Those are my 3 words. If to be a champion, you have to embody all 3 of those. Purpose, you have to define what your purpose is. What is it you're trying to accomplish? If you're trying to be a champion, okay, that's what you stick to in your head. Don't deviate from that. That's your purpose. You're trying to accomplish. I'm going to be a champion. I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be the best cup man. I'll be the best. Define your purpose. Once you've defined your purpose, it's all about the goals. Take the steps, specific steps you need to get that accomplished, to accomplish your purpose, right? You want to make sure you're on the right paths. You want to go the route the path of least resistance. Well, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. You don't want the least resistance because, like I said, there's always a lesson in the loss, right? So you want to take specific steps to get to the goal that's gonna get you to achieve your purpose, right? Your intention, you want to be intentional with everything you're doing. Every step that you're taking, you want to be intentional with it. Every act, you're going to verbalize whatever, any voice, anything that you speak into yourself, you want to be intentional with it. Your actions, you want to be intentional with it. And that's where the discipline and the being driven and the perseverance and all those words come in play. You want to be intentional. So if you're intentional about your goals, you'll get to your purpose. So that's why I have those. That is what you need to be a champion. Intentions, it keeps you you can be a champion for a day. Anybody can be a champion for a day. You want to be a champion for a long period of time. You just don't want to get there and be like, okay, I got it and I'm good. Being a champion means you're going to persevere through the ups and downs, the goods and bads. You want to be able to not have people just talk to you any kind of way and you lose it. You also have to have emotional intelligence. You have to, because if you lack emotional intelligence after you've achieved your purpose, your goals, and your intentions, you can lose all that you've worked for because you're not emotionally intelligent to not let somebody talk you into something that you shouldn't have took or a fight that you shouldn't have taken, or you have to be emotionally intelligent. Like, nah, I'm good. And I'm going to do what's best for me, even if that's not that particular event. Does that make sense?
Man, that makes a lot of sense. You heard it live today with my special guest, Coach Paula Vargas out of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
Coach Vargas, your story is a rare blend of discipline, intuition, and disruption. And we're all better for hearing it from you. Thank you for stepping into the corner, not just for fighters, but for women, for healing, and for the truth. And everybody listen up. As always in the story, what makes a champion? The foods you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the knowledge you seek, and the words you speak. My name is Coach Stokes, and I'm out. Peace. All right, it's